Well, hello everybody, welcome back to the channel, and welcome back to our adventure series. And so now, for the fourth episode, I will be reviewing The Mummy 2018, starring Tom Cruise. Now, I seen this one in the theaters, actually, when it first came out, and this one was, quite heavily panned critically, and was considered, a really, really shitty movie by most people, it seems, but, I didn't like it at all. The first time I seen it in the theaters, I didn't like it at all. Like, I walked out saying, "Oh, that completely sucked." And this is only the second time rewatching it, and I actually had a bit better of a time watching it the second time around. I realized a bit more about what kind of movie this was trying to be made here, and like I said, the first 30 minutes to 45 minutes are not bad. Like, they're really good. They set up, the ancient Egyptian segment of the movie is actually really cool, and it's really cool looking, and it's atmospheric, and it is intense and all of that. It's not as authentic. I'd say it's not as true historical or just authentic to the actual ancient Egyptian stuff as much as the other ones were, but nonetheless it's entertaining. It's good, and it still makes sense. Like, it still makes sure it has that ancient Egypt kind of a vibe to it, no matter what. And no, I was actually quite entertained watching the movie. I mean, it's quite action packed, and the stunt work, as everybody knows with Tom Cruise, it's all legit stunts, so it's all top notch that way, and very entertaining. I mean, some of them go a little bit over the top or are a little bit cheesy or whatever, but it's like, they're all, you can admire the craft behind creating those stunts and performing them, and the technical side of developing them and all of that. It's not a very long movie. Like, you're not trapped in it for a long time, but it flows well. Like, the action is really cool, and so there are some things, like there's some random little moments here and there that just kind of seem like they had an all right, like, for example, when he has to shoot his partner, when the main character played by Tom Cruise has to shoot his partner. It actually makes sense, like, under the circumstances that was going on, it makes sense, but then he shoots him a third time for no real reason, and it's not really addressed. Like, it is later on in the movie, I guess, but it's not really addressed. Like, it's just kind of this random moment that was just in there, and there's a few moments like that are like, I don't know, it's like somebody thought they would be like Swift or something, or like it thought it would be like I don't know, like funny or something. Like, there's like humor that was meant to be in there that people didn't really get. Like, it just seemed like there was these random moments. But no, I mean, the action was top notch, and the first sequence when him and his partner first run out into the desert and are on looking for this tomb, it totally reminded me of like Call of Duty or something like that. Like the background and the setting and like the set they were on and all of that, and and just the guns they were using and the way the gunfire was playing out, and that it reminded me a lot of Call of Duty, some missions on Call of Duty, like Modern Warfare or something like that. And I like how they had a medieval knight connection to the ancient Egyptian artifact in this movie too. That was interesting. That was cool. And I like how they had the tomb was actually not in Egypt. It's the flashbacks in the ancient Egypt start in Egypt, and it resides mainly there. But the main story about the mummy is not in Egypt. It's in Mesopotamia, which is it's interesting lore, and that adds some that adds an extra level of mystery to the movie, and that too, because it is a true historical fact. Those were enemy nations, and there were not supposed to be any Egyptian tombs located in Mesopotamia. So that adds some like intriguing mystery to the movie too. And again, there's some moments that just suspend the disbelief too much. Like there's an underwater sequence that actually involves the Crusader Knights, but that it was really good shot, like it was really good CGI and good stunt work in that, but it just suspended the disbelief way too much. I mean, he held his breath way too long underwater, and the night mummies coming out of swimming after him in the water, just, I don't know, it just looked a little bit shoddy. It just kind of seemed a little bit cheesy. Like I said, it just, that whole sequence suspended the disbelief of what it was a little bit too much, even for this kind of movie. It just went a little bit too far. Same with the sequence after the plane crash. And I mean, I know there's like a curse on him that makes him not die or whatever, but the after the plane crash, when he wakes up in the morgue, he's in way too pristine of a condition, like no bruises or anything after a plane crash like that. So some moments like that are a little too polished, a little too clean, and, you know, a little corny. But overall, I give this movie a break. You know, I actually wish that it didn't flop too bad, and they could extend on it if they were ever going to, and that they could continue the Universal monster, the monster, whatever it's called, the Monster World or the Monsterverse or whatever that the Universal had with the, you know, the Wolfman and all. Like I was actually looking forward to seeing new adaptations of this, and you know, the scene, like the CGI and the scenery and stuff like that in the movie and the action, that, like, there's some cool shots that, like, no matter what, like, even the moments I'm talking about, or even if you still refuse to like the movie, like, I don't know, in my opinion, there's enough, you know, just cool shots and cool moments, and just, like, some things that kind of pop out at you that make it worthwhile to watch at the end of the day. And yeah, no, I like the sequence when all the camel spiders come out when they first discover the tomb. That was really cool. You know, and yeah, like anytime there's like a creature or something creepy, or the mummies coming out, like it all looks really, really creepy. Like it all looks cool, and yeah, there's some awesome action moments, but there's also some there's also just like some cool shots of just like of just like, you know, I think a lot of it's a mixture. I think there is some actual on-site stuff. I'm not sure, but it might not be. But I think there's a little bit of some on-site stuff here, and I think there's a lot of CGI, and I think there's some sets involved in it too. But whenever they're down in a tomb or something like that, like there's like the trailers did a good job of actually getting people hyped on that. Like just like some of the images of some of the, you know, tombs and the sarcophagus and the artifacts and all that are really cool looking. And there's some spooky moments too. Like I heard that they toned down a bit on how spooky it actually was and took a different direction. But there are some moments that kind of like they're not like really scary, but they just do a good job. They're almost like jump scares, but they work well. They're just like these moments that kind of pop out at you that are just kind of not necessarily scary, but yeah, just kind of jolt you, kind of, you know. And yeah, I really didn't mind the movie, and it's like I said, it's not long. It works for what it is. You can just put it in and you know, just let it roll, and you don't have to be too dedicated to time or anything like that. So it's not a bad movie. I'd say upon rewatching it, I liked it a lot more than the first one, because like I said, when I walked into the theaters, I didn't do a review on it then, but when I walked out, I thought for sure if I ever did, I'm just going to fucking rip this movie a new one, and I'm just going to hate on it. But actually watching it the second time around, didn't mind it so much. So I'm going to give the movie a B-. It actually seems like quite a high grade for that kind of movie, but you know, I think it's not bad enough to be in the low category, but it's certainly not. It doesn't crawl too high into the good category either. So it's just kind of in the middle. It's just kind of not a bad movie to put on. So I think a B- works for the Mummy 2018. Yeah, thank you very much for watching, everybody.